You are afraid of the dark. Not because you were taught to be. Not because a movie told you to be. Something older than language flinches when the lights go out. You tell yourself it is irrational. It is not. For most of human history, the dark was not empty. It was hunting. Your ancestors were not always the ones holding the spear. For millions of years, before fire, before tools sharp enough to matter, they were something else entirely. Prey. And the animal most responsible for shaping the way your brain works today was not a lion, and it was not a bear. It was something smaller, quieter, and far more patient. Picture South Africa roughly 2 million years ago. A small hominin, barely taller than your shoulder, moves across open grassland at dusk. His brain is a third the size of yours. Its body is slight, slow, and unarmored. Somewhere in the tall grass, something is already watching. It does not roar. It does not announce itself. It simply waits for the right moment, then closes the distance in seconds. In 1970, a paleoanthropologist named C.K. Brain was digging through fossil deposits in a South African cave system called Swartkrans. He found hominin skulls with 2 puncture marks in the crown. At first, the marks meant nothing. Then he matched them to the lower canine teeth of a fossil leopard, and the spacing lined up exactly. The leopard had carried the body up into a tree to feed, the way modern leopards still do, and the skull had fallen down into the cave below. That single fossil rewrote what scientists thought they knew about early human life. Your ancestors were not simply competing with predators. They were, quite regularly, food. This is uncomfortable to sit with. Most stories about human origins cast your ancestors as the clever ones, the tool users, the ones who tamed fire and outsmarted the animal kingdom. That story is true eventually, but it comes later. Long before it, for a stretch of time that dwarfs all of recorded history combined, your lineage lived under constant threat from above, below, and behind. Leopards were only one danger. Saber-toothed cats like Dinofelis prowled the same landscapes, built with jaws designed to slice through soft tissue with brutal efficiency. Giant hyenas, some larger than modern lions, hunted in packs and scavenged what they didn't kill themselves. Crocodiles waited at the water's edge, patient as stone, exactly where your ancestors had no choice but to drink. Why would evolution allow a species this vulnerable to survive at all? The answer has less to do with strength and more to do with attention. Around 2006, researchers Donna Hart and Robert Sussman published a body of work built on exactly this question. They compiled fossil evidence, modern primate predation data, and comparative anatomy, and they proposed something that felt radical at the time. They called it the man-the-hunted hypothesis. Instead of imagining early humans as dominant hunters from the very beginning, they argued that being hunted relentlessly for millions of years is what actually built the foundation of human social behavior. Think about what it takes to survive as a slow, weak, clawless animal in a landscape full of ambush predators. You cannot outrun a leopard. You cannot outfight a hyena pack. What you can do is notice things faster than the animal next to you. What you can do is warn someone else the instant you see movement in the grass. What you can do is stay close to a group because a predator that has 10 targets to track is less likely to catch you specifically than one that has 1. This is where your instincts come from. That flicker of unease when you're the last one to leave a parking lot. That involuntary scan of a room the moment you walk into it. That discomfort when your back is turned to an open door. None of that is a modern invention. It is inherited software, built by generations of ancestors who did not get the luxury of relaxing their guard. There is another piece of this story that is harder to look at directly. In 1924, a fossil skull was discovered near Tong, South Africa, belonging to a young Australopithecus africanus, a species that lived roughly 2 to 3 million years ago. For decades, scientists debated the cause of death. Then in the mid-1990s, researcher Lee Berger examined the skull alongside modern eagle kill sites and noticed something chilling. The puncture marks and damage pattern on the Tong child's skull matched almost exactly the marks left by large birds of prey when they kill and eat primates today. A child, likely traveling with a group, had probably been snatched from above. This detail matters because it reframes what predator even means in this story. It was not one single animal stalking your ancestors across the plains. It was a layered, constant pressure coming from every direction at once. From the grass, from the water, from the sky. Danger did not come with a season or a warning. It came whenever attention lapsed. So how did a species this exposed eventually flip the script? Not through raw physical power. Your ancestors never grew claws, fangs, or armor. What changed was cooperation. Groups that communicated faster, bonded tighter, and shared vigilance survived generation after generation, while more isolated or less coordinated groups did not. Over enormous stretches of time, this pressure sculpted something remarkable. It sculpted a brain wired for social alertness, for reading faces, for detecting subtle shifts in tone and body language, because in the ancestral world, missing a warning could mean death. Fire changed the equation eventually. So did stone tools and later weapons capable of striking from a distance. Once your ancestors could reliably fight back, and later hunt in coordinated groups, the balance of power shifted. But by the time that shift happened, the underlying wiring was already set. The nervous system you carry today was built under conditions of near-constant threat, and it does not update itself just because the world around it changed. This is why a sudden loud noise in a quiet house can make your heart pound before your conscious mind even registers what happened. This is why children, even in perfectly safe modern bedrooms, are afraid of the dark corner, the shape under the bed, the thing that might be watching. This is why open, exposed spaces, parking garages, empty stairwells, unlit paths, still trigger a specific ancient kind of unease that has nothing to do with statistics and everything to do with instinct. Your rational brain knows a leopard is not hiding in your closet. The older part of your brain never got that memo because for most of your species' existence, checking the shadows kept you alive. There is something strange and almost humbling in this. The very things that make you feel small tonight, the flinch, the racing pulse, the hyper-awareness in an unfamiliar place, are not weaknesses. They are inheritance. They are proof that somewhere behind you, generation after generation, An animal with no claws and no armor survived long enough to pass its alertness forward, all the way down to you. Tonight, when the lights go out and that old, familiar unease creeps in, you won't be imagining a threat that was never real. You'll be feeling the echo of one that very much was.